Hello, this is Roland. Today I want to read a little bit to you from one of my favorite things, the Sermon on the Mount. But not just any translation of the Sermon on the Mount, but the Sermon on the Mount translated from the Aramaic, painstakingly and carefully translated from the Aramaic by the Yunnan Codex Foundation. And here I have in my hand a copy of the Kabor's manuscript, which was found. And then some of the New Testament was translated. The Sermon on the Mount. When Jesus saw the crowds, he ascended the mount, and when he was seated, his disciples drew near to him. He began speaking and teaching them, saying, "A heavenly attitude is theirs, those whose home is in the Spirit. Theirs is a heavenly state. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those mourning their wrongs, they shall be comforted. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those with humility, they will gain the earth. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those who hunger and thirst for justice, they shall obtain it. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those whose love is without condition. They will therefore receive unconditional love." Very beautiful. Now let's focus on the very first one. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those whose home is in the Spirit. There was a place in the New Testament where it said something, or Paul said something about being seated in heavenly places. He was talking to the Christians and saying that they were seated in heavenly places. Well, you know something? Paradise begins as a state of mind. Your mind's either close to heaven or very close to heaven, or even in heaven. And your soul is in hell, or close to hell. Now, in heaven, see, where does all good come from? All good, truth, true love, kindness, patience, forbearance, long-suffering, wisdom, understanding. These things come from heaven. That's the way it is in heaven. And they come from heaven. And so when you have a heavenly attitude, you have an attitude that's touched by heaven, or in heaven, or from heaven. That's where you're coming from. Maybe that's a good way of putting it. Some people are coming from heaven. Some people, like Hitler, other people are coming from hell. Now, there are a lot of people that are kind of stuck in between. They're not in heaven. But they know that it exists, but they're not there. But they also know that hell exists. They get little glimpses of it. And as we deteriorate mentally, physically, spiritually, in every way, we draw closer to hell. And then you get glimpses of it. See, some people know. They've had drug experiences, or they've been very resentful. And they know they know that there's a hell. Well, I want to dwell upon hell. I just want you to see that a heavenly attitude is one that's coming from heaven. See, now God is patient, and he is forbearing and gracious and wise. When you're coming from a place that's oriented toward him, then you begin to share in that brightness, in that wisdom, in that patience, in that love. You see, it comes through you. See, and that is why when you extend love to others, it says in here that remember we just read, he said a heavenly attitude. See, so that's what you want, a heavenly attitude. See, you don't want to be the source. See, people think that they have to be nice, that they have to be patient, but they have to have love. See, that they think they have to have it somehow, so then they try. See, but it's an attitude. See, let me put it another way. How can I put this? If you walk out in the rain, say it's a beautiful spring day, warm, balmy, you walk out in the rain, see, then you can't help but be taking a spring shower in the rain. Remember that movie with, what was his name? Danny? Oh, I can't think of it now. And he sang that song, I'm dancing in the rain. Remember? It was beautiful. Such a happy tune. See, America used to be closer to heaven. Remember? There was brightness and a hope. People whistled while they worked. There were children everywhere. It was just beautiful. But now, see, we've fallen away from God. So, but another way of putting it, let's say you go out in the sunshine. If you go out in the sunshine, the beautiful sunshine, you can't help but feel the warmth and light of the sun. Okay? Well, if you have the mindset, if you have the detachment, the recollection, the attitude, the yearning for truth, if you have those, and so you draw near to the inner light from God, then you're able to how can I say this, to share in His love. It flows through you, but it has to flow through you. Okay, it can't be dammed up or stopped up. It has to flow through. So it says here that if you have unconditional love for others, then you will receive unconditional love. It's automatic. It's automatic. Remember I said if you're standing out in the sun, you're automatically going to be in the sunlight and feel the warmth and the light of the sun. So if you share it, if you have that heavenly attitude of wanting to know the truth and yearning for the truth, and honestly and truly wanting to be a better person, and seeing that of yourself you can do nothing, see, and realizing that you can't change yourself. You'd like to be good, better. You'd like to be a good mom or dad, not to parade in front of others and impress them, but simply to be a better mom, to be a better dad, to be a better partner, see. And you're sick and tired of hating all the time and resenting people and judging them. See, so with that attitude, you draw near to God, and it says if you draw near to God, then He draws near to you. Remember, it says that in the Bible. Now all of a sudden, you sense. Maybe you sense His peace, but then all of a sudden, here comes your child, here comes your partner, here comes your neighbor, here comes someone. And now instead of resenting them, see, which you would have in the past, or judging them or being angry, now you observe them, a little bit of detachment, and you don't sense the love that's in you. Maybe they do. You don't. All you know is that you're not judging them. You're loving them by not hating them. You're loving them by not resenting them. You're loving them by not judging them. See? And so, there you are. But the love is flowing, is coming through you. You can't taste it, touch it, smell it. But then you also then experience forgiveness. You experience God's love. It flows through you. See? For you and it's for everyone. So this heavenly attitude, now do you see, I said what it is. And from this heavenly attitude, all these other good things happen. You have patience. You have love. You mourn your wrongs. See, it just goes on. You know the Beatitudes, but this time with a heavenly attitude. It's a perfect way. So a heavenly attitude. So for you, you won't feel like you're good, or you're nice, or you're wonderful, or you're holy, or you're patient, or you are. You'll be surprised to see that you're becoming more patient. Where before things would have upset you, and now they don't upset you. You just have you have a sense of humor about things, mildly amused at things that used to upset you. Okay? But can you see? Remember, Christ said, "Of myself I can do nothing." Well, if he said that, then how about you? What can you do? Nothing. But you can yearn for truth, yearn for what's right. See, yearn to want to be a better parent. Yearn to want to say the right thing, but you know you don't know the right thing. And you also know that if you go to books, if you go to experts, if you go to the internet, if you go to college professors, book writers, the priestcraft, and clergy, and psychologists, and you go to all these people. Yeah, they may have a good idea or two, okay, but they cannot help you in that subtle moment. What to say. See? So now you realize that you don't know. You want to know. You would like to do the right thing. You'd like to say the right thing. You don't know what it is. And so there you stand there. You don't know. But you're not going to reach out into the world to give some phony answer. And so you just stand there. And then all of a sudden you do know. Something comes out and it's right. Or maybe nothing is said. But they can see, the other person can see that by you're not trying to impress them, or fool them, or bamboozle them, or win them over. See, or do anything to them. Not trying to build yourself up, not trying to look good, not trying to prove something, not trying to get rid of them, not trying to do anything. Just stand there. Then they sense the authenticity, the sincerity. See, so that from the heavenly attitude of wanting to know the truth and being willing to know the truth without resenting it. See, even if it shows you in a bad light. See, sure, it's a little painful to see that you hated your mom or you hated your brothers. Sure, it is. It's so painful, maybe very painful, but it's short-lived. But now you want to come clean. See, that's the heavenly attitude. You don't want to fool people. You don't want to hate them. You just want to come clean. Let your hair down. Just be a regular person. Now, with this new humility, see, you become unblocked. The light shines through you. And it changes you. And it imparts something to you. See? It's a heavenly attitude. And you're not trying to be anything other than just yourself. See? You're not trying to prove anything or be anything or impress anyone. And yet, because of this heavenly attitude, the good comes through. It's good for everyone and it's good for you. Now it goes on to say that blessed are, or no, I almost said blessed. That's the other translation, which is sweet. The King James, blessed are, of course, that's sweet. But this one has depth to it, a heavenly attitude. Okay? And it says a heavenly attitude is theirs, those being scorned because of their justness. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. See? So, when it comes to your loved ones and to good people, they see They see the sincerity. They see the patience. And they respect, and the courage. And they see you saying the right thing. They see you standing for something instead of being a weak people pleaser. So they respect you, perhaps even come to love you. But then there are some who are coming from the other place. See, those who are coming from the other place, they have a dark spirit. And it's like clashing, see, like gears grinding. And they don't like it, see. So they may accuse you of something or claim that you're being mean or being rigid, something. Well, then once again, now is your opportunity to practice being patient, not hating, not resenting. Okay? And usually they either run because it's frightening. See, the light shines upon them. They see themselves in the light of your patience. They see themselves for what they are. See, or they just see that there's nothing they can do to you, and so they go away. They can't get anything out of you. You stand there looking at them, and then they go away, leave you alone. Okay, or they resent you. See, they say bad things about you. They, persecute you, right? And for your justice. So what is your justice? Probably just speaking up. Speaking the truth, but without resentment. Just firmly speaking the truth, but with patience, without resentment. And they don't like it. Do you know people that don't like the truth? See? A lot of kids get slapped down. Slapped down for telling the truth. Accidentally telling the truth. See, people don't like it. Parents don't like it. Authorities don't like someone. Like Alfred E. Newman, what, me worry? Or Albert Einstein, sitting in the back of the room with a little smile on his face. There was a math teacher that hated him. Hated Albert Einstein. Why? Because Albert Einstein wasn't kowtowing to him and acting, oh, you're a great professor. Einstein was just sitting there with a smile on his face, and this professor hated him. But he later had to admit, well, Einstein turned out to be pretty smart. See, you have to admit it. And so the good that comes through you then, even those that, but some people will come around. Oh, what I was going to say is some will go off and self-destruct because they'll resent the good that they see in you. It's not you that's good. The good that comes through you. The light. They resent the light. They resent having to have seen themselves. Now, see, the cat is out of the bag. See, now they actually have to see themselves for what they are. And now they can't forget it. And they resent it. And the resentment can be so awful that they go off and self-destruct. See? But that's none of your affair. All you did was stand there, like Alfred E. Newman, what, me worry, spoke the truth. And what, see, some people will come around to what's right. Some people will love it. Some people will hate it. Some will self-destruct. Others will at first react against the light. See, they're used to being prideful. They're used to having people cater to their ego. So they react against it. But then they go off and then they say, well, you know something? He's actually right about that. See? And then they come around. So your only obligation is to speak the truth and with patience, and not with resentment, but firmly, not as a mealy mouth, but just speak the truth firmly, patiently, but not with resentment, with kindness. And that's it, see, a heavenly attitude. So from this heavenly attitude, wanting to know the truth, being willing to see the truth even if it shows you in a bad light, okay, letting your pride be humbled and becoming just a regular person, heavenly attitude. From this heavenly attitude, all these good things come to pass. And you didn't even do them. You're not responsible. See, that's also nice. Egos always want to take responsibility for everything. And then they feel guilty for it. And then when things don't work out, they blame themselves, and you know how egos are. But now, God's in charge. See? Well, I do enjoy this Course manuscript. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful translation of some parts of the New Testament. And I think you would also enjoy reading it. It's available. You know, you can find it at Barnes & Noble and Amazon and so on. It's beautiful. And I like it. I like it a lot. Right? It's very appropriate, I think, for Easter week. Very appropriate.